Hey crew, I've got the key in rose gold to that Mercedes-Maybach SL 680. And this week, we're gonna see what it's like to live with. Starting with the spacing in my driveway. And it has been raining off and on this week. You can still see the rainwater from last night on the cover for my M2 CS and on the hood of that Maybach. As for the parking jobs, the CS is very close to the edge and the SL is as well. And with that spacing, there's a lot of room to walk between the vehicles. Both have power folding door mirrors. That does help. We got a wagon and a double stroller through for our kiddos. The SL is fairly low to the ground, but not crazy low, so we don't necessarily need these curb ramps to help with the clearance of the gutter at the front of my driveway. And at the back, though this car isn't over here, it's similar in size to my CS, especially with that car cover. So you can see there would be enough room to walk in front of the hedge on the path to my front door. When first hopping inside with the key fob on me, the idea is the car will sense you're approaching, unlock the doors, and present these door handles, but I've just been hovering around it so it doesn't get the idea. I have to press on the handles, then they pop out, and then I can open up the door. Now there's a couple problems with rain. Obviously the car gets wet, but also the ground gets muddy. And that isn't great as a combo with an all-white interior, including the floor mats. That's the biggest issue. You've got these nice shaggy carpets, but they're caked on with dirt at this point, and it's not going to get any better right now. But I am going to slide into the cabin and close up that door. And here's something that's very bizarre in a car costing about $230,000. We do not have soft closed doors, is what I was going to say before I was greeted by that very dramatic music. But yeah, it's weird that you don't get a soft close feature on a car this expensive. You do have a nice thud when you close up that door. Hello, cabin crew. Thanks for joining for this day in the life in the Mercedes-Maybach. Maybach? It's said different ways in different parts of the world. Anyway, SL 680. In this video, I want to see what it's like to live with the most luxurious version of the SL convertible. So let's fire it up. That took a sec. But now we hear from that 4-liter twin-turbo V8. It's pretty subdued from inside the cabin. Let's listen to the idle from outside the car. It's a nice throaty rumble, but it's not overly loud. I don't think this is going to upset. Oh, and then it settles down even more. That won't upset any of your neighbors if you're leaving for your workday early in the morning. And seeing as the rain has stopped and the sun is out, at least for now, I am going to lower the top. So I'll pull on this lever here. And in 15 seconds, the conversion is complete. Last thing before we go, I want to show you where I would put the items I bring with me every day. Like my iPhone 17 Pro, which sits on this wireless charging pad inside the cup holder compartment. And I also have the key fob in one of those cup holders. Inside this console, I managed to fit my Racebox 0 to 60 timer, slimline wallet, and a protein bar. In the door pocket, because there isn't dedicated sunglass storage elsewhere, I put my sunglasses, and that's helpful because it is soft line. I don't think it's leather, but it is nice and soft, so that's going to protect the lenses. My GoPro accessory case, I did have to stick behind the seat back where there aren't any rear seats on the Maybach version of the SL, and I also put my 32-ounce metal water bottle. So I can find room for just about everything in here, though I wish I didn't have to put big things behind the rear seats. Now let me throw on my seat belts, pull the gear selector down into drive. That's automatically going to release the parking brake so I can roll on forward over those curb ramps, turn the wheel to the right, wave goodbye to the CS. Hear from, I think, the rear wheel steering system with the wheels turning within the wheel well and kind of rubbing up against, and head out. Seeing as it is about 58 degrees outside, I would like to get a bit cozier in the SL, so let me turn on a few features like steering wheel heating. That control is here on the stock, and then on the door I've got seat heating at 3 different levels. I'll move that to number 1, and my favorite feature in a convertible, the neck warmer. So I hit that button there, and you also have 3 different levels of warmth for that. But we're not done, because this is is a Maybach. So I'm gonna say, hey Mercedes. Hey Mercedes.
Yes.
Turn on driver's seat massage.
Driver's seat massage is switched on.
Oh. Yes, it is. Now, the voice commands in this car can get irritating if you go into the settings and you enable it to respond to certain keywords. Those happen to be a mystery to me, and so I'll just be saying something and it'll try turning something on when I didn't ask it to. But instead, if you turn that feature off, you can just enable it to respond to the voice prompt, hey Mercedes.
I'm listening.
And that works very well. As far as drive configurations, I'm not just going to rely on a comfort mode because that is so normal. We're in a Maybach, so I'm going to use the Maybach mode. And that's going to do two important things. One, it is going to subdue the throttle response even more, and it's going to soften up that suspension damping for extra compliance. And the seats in the Maybach version of the SL have additional padding. So already, just from the time I sat in this chair, I feel more relaxed than the standard SL. The padding is really just perfect. It's not overly cushy, so I'm not like sinking into the chair, but it's just coddling me in all the right ways. And the braking is super smooth. You don't feel the 9-speed transmission working away, and if I was gonna be at a light for a while, I could press in my foot firmly to get that auto hold so I can take my foot off the brake pedal, and then as I accelerate away, interesting, I did feel a bit of a lurch from the gear change of first to second. Let's see if it'll do it again here at this light. Yeah, not as pronounced that time, but still a bit of a hesitation. You move forward and backward as the transmission is working on to the next gear. Not something I really want to feel in my, again, $230,000 convertible. Now, what I don't feel in the vast majority of circumstances, because occasionally it's not true, but the road imperfections almost never make their way in through to my seat and to my body to really disrupt me. That was not a great piece of road we just went over, but it did so with an incredible degree of compliance. There are only ever like a couple times in a day where you'll go over something like a pothole, a really deep rut in the road, and the suspension will crash. But that is really just the upper limit of what the suspension can handle. Everything else, it just irons out, so you stay very much relaxed. And the concept of relaxation comes from a lack of effort expensed, and that's the way you feel putting your foot into the throttle of the SL680, because even in the Maybach mode, even as it's a gentle response, there is so much grunt here from the 4-liter twin-turbo V8, 577 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque, that you just get up to speed without that much effort. But all that taking it easy, well, that and the coffee indicator here on the gauge cluster is reminding me that I need to get a cup of, yes, decaf coffee. So I'll have to get my fix here at True Brew Organic Coffee. I've found myself a parking space, plenty of room around it, in fact, so I'm going to back in. Up on the gear stock prompts the high-res camera with trajectory lines and a bird's eye view so I can navigate in before parking sensors chime in to tell me to stop. All right, got my decaf, and this was actually a fun experience because they extracted it like 3 or 4 different times until they dialed it in just right for me. I appreciated that. And I did have to put the top back up on the SL because even though it's sunny, there's water falling from the sky. But this does give me a chance to show the Maybach branded fabric roof. You can see the logos right here. That, in addition to all of the Maybach logos on the hood, well, it's a look for sure. I'm not sure it's my cup of tea, or in this case, coffee, but it's a thing you can do. And now let's go take the SL somewhere it's not raining so I can put the top down and really look at the exterior. There we go. Now we've got some room to work around the exterior, and the Maybach logos on the hood and on the fabric roof aren't standard to this car, so if you don't like that, you don't have to get it. It's part of a package, but you do get the contrasting black hood for this garnet red metallic paint. And I'm not typically one to like red on cars, but this kind of works here, especially with all the chrome. So you do have this vertically slatted grille for the Maybach specific car. Not my favorite. I do appreciate the dedication to putting little Maybach logos all throughout the lower grille mesh. You have your TriStar hood ornaments, and then you've got some rose gold accents around the headlight casings. Getting to the side, this is what seals the deal for me on any Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-AMG, Mercedes-Maybach vehicle, the monoblock wheels. I am a sucker for this wheel design. And these wheels are a little different than the normal ones because they have these winglets that bisect the gaps. I prefer the standard wheels, but these are still great. And looking at the profile, with the top down, this is by far the best look of this car. It's such a great flow from nose to tail, and without the rear seats, they designed this cowl to curve around the headrests, and they've even got Maybach logos behind the rear seats. Getting to the back, it's a nice clean finish. So I'd just say keep the extra Maybach logos off the roof and the hood, and I'm on board. Though this car is not the AMG model, it does get the same potent powertrain, same output. So I think we need to just dabble in the performance a little bit. Starting with a real-world 0 to 60 test. I've got my race box set up here to record. There isn't a race mode or a launch control system, but I do have it in the sport drive mode, and I'm gonna brake boost it off the line, let it go. And arrive at 60 in 3.78 seconds. My Bach, that is tenacious. And while the handling may not be as flat, sharp, planted as the SL63, it's really not bad. There's just a little more floatiness. The turn-in is really quick, and the rear wheel steering helps direct the back end. And then that mid-range thrust is just amazing. Thankfully, the brakes are too. Though the V8 has been refined a little bit in the acoustic department. It still sounds really good when you hear it past the wind noise, which does raise as your speeds do. Speaking of which, I'm gonna raise the top back up, which I can do at speeds up to 37 miles an hour, so I'll keep it under that. Done. And now as I join the highway, I'm going to listen in for the cabin volume at higher speeds.
How may I help you?
You can't. What's that? Okay, it's mostly great in here. You don't hear much in the way of tire noise. There was a louder road surface back there, that slab of concrete where the hum came through just a touch. But mostly I just get wind noise bristling here at the seams. Again, not bad, so that if I were to commute like this, well, really, I'm kind of shouting now. I don't need to. I can talk at a much lower tone of voice. You would stay calm. And to help with your level of chill, if you were in traffic, you do have some driving assistance features, which I will set here, including adaptive cruise control and steering assistance. It's not hands-free highway driving. I wish they did have that here for, again, this amount of money, but it is gonna help you stay in the center of the lane, even on curves like this one. And if there was a gap either to the left or right, it would help you change lanes in either direction. Mostly it's going to be the adaptive cruise control and just the assistance, if you were distracted for half a second, of keeping you in the lane that will reduce that fatigue of especially traffic-heavy commutes. Should you be inclined to listen to music during your drive, there is a Burmester high-end 3D sound system equipped, and we're going to listen to that via the wireless Apple CarPlay. The infotainment icons are nice and large, so it's easy to find what you're looking for, and it's responsive. I'll pull up CarPlay and then find Spotify, find the song I want, get that going, and then I've got a volume slider here on the steering wheel, or another one over here below the infotainment, and it also has the ability to press to go up one volume up or one volume down. I prefer just a dial, but this works, I guess. That is, it's about 60, 65% right there. Let's go up to maybe 70. sound system is great. It was a very odd experience just exiting the highway there. It immediately started applying a considerable amount of braking, presumably because it was like, I'm ending cruise control, you're no longer on the highway. But yeah, that was a little odd. I had to take over quickly there. But yes, the sound system is awesome. The balance, the mids, the highs, the lows, a good degree of bass brought in, and it certainly blocked out all the outside wind noise that I was getting right here. I do want to get some additional input about this cabin and the top-down driving experience from my mom when I pick her up for lunch. So let's lower the top back down to give her that full experience and bring her the Chariot. Hey, Mom.
Hey, Miles.
Welcome to the Mercedes-Maybach SL 680. Is this the first Maybach you've been in?
It is. Never
Okay.
before, just seen them from the outside.
Okay, so you've been in AMGs. It was the CLE 53 convertible. That's right.
Right.
That was not too long ago. So now you're in a Maybach. So they're going for distinct experiences in each. They want obviously
Yes.
high performance for the AMG. They want, you know, just a well-rounded luxury vehicle, the more standard cars, and then they want full-on luxury in the Maybach.
Right.
Are you getting that?
I am feeling very pampered right now.
Is it the neck warming, or is it the seat heating, or?
You know, I turned the seat heating on and it's extremely effective because I actually had to turn it down.
Yeah.
It was toasting me from the bottom up.
I can only ever do level 1. Level
Yes.
2 or 3 is like, let's Del Scorcho you.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And it like ramps up very quickly too. But I'm assuming that the neck warming, is it emanating from somewhere?
Yes, there's a vent back here behind your neck.
Well, I think that's a nice feature because in a convertible, you've got the ambient air entering.
Right.
And then this keeps you, the passenger, comfortable.
Yes, agreed. And speaking of comfort, how do you like the seats?
Oh, the seat is just wonderful. It's that, you know, lovely handbag leather that I have talked about
Yes.
before. It's extremely soft.
Yeah.
And the seat is well padded.
Mm-hmm.
I would say almost excessively so. It's quite lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the tushy is not complaining.
And that leather is just everywhere. It's all over this cabin. It's
Yeah.
got the black leather and then the white leather, but it's all just, you know, it's real leather. It's not injection molding anywhere. Even the piece bordering the console, that's all in leather. So if you were wearing shorts, which how dare you in a Maybach wear shorts, but if you did, your leg would brush up against leather, not plastic.
Yes, no complaints there.
I mean, there is some plastic here though. I wish that was metal, not just plastic.
It has a good look.
It does
for
look good.
plastic.
You're right. Yeah, they at least did different colors
But
there.
the
You got
sound,
the gloss black.
The sound gives it away.
The sound ain't it, and neither is the gloss black over the cup holders. We don't
Yeah.
like gloss blacks.
These are quite sharp.
Yeah.
And they have a little texture on the outside, the aluminum texture.
the knurled
It gives-
finish.
Gives you a good grip if you're adjusting.
A practical use case.
Yes.
You can even see some of the ambient lighting right now. This is like middle of the day. It's so bright you can see the
I
ambient lighting.
noticed it. It's violet.
Yes. And you can change that color up here in the settings. You're going to see a lot of the ambient lighting during my night drive for this, so check that out if you haven't yet.
Okay.
But yeah, that really shows off all the colors. It's pretty impressive. Let's teleport now to the
Okay.
coast, because I think this car is befitting of that atmosphere.
Sounds like a plan.
We will need to turn around to do that though, so let's test out the turning circle with the wheel fully cranked.
Oh, very
Hey,
respectable.
not bad. And let's just say, someone is driving recklessly on the road. We need to honk at them, okay?
Okay.
What are they going to hear in the Maybach? Oh,
Oh, that's authoritative.
it's almost harsh at the very end there. I feel like it echoes in a harsh way. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Nothing you did could have offended me that bad. You needed to hear from my horn. Drum roll, please. Et voila! We
Ocean.
made it to the ocean. And
We
what
did.
a sight it is.
Oh, it's beautiful after the rain.
Yes. Weather's perfect. The top is down.
Handful of boats.
Yeah. And hey, speaking of like top down, your hair's not moving all that much in the wind.
No, this is not bad at all. I thought I was going to regret not bringing a hat.
Yeah. So even without one of those extension windscreens that come up from the back and cut down on the turbulent moving air, you just have this glass partition here over the cowl.
Right.
The wind noise, the wind moving, isn't that bad inside the cabin at a good speed.
No, not at all. And in fact, I feel like I'm sitting in a very protective little bubble here.
You've got your own cove.
I've got my own cove.
The question is whether this experience is worth $230,000.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. It's $250,000
That's
for this.
a bit rich.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've really enjoyed how comfortable it is, and
For
how
sure.
premium everything does feel.
Yes.
But what do you think?
I think this car is going to be loved by a certain type of buyer.
Yes.
Somebody who really wants to be out there with no doubt as to what they're driving.
Right.
Because it's everywhere.
It's absolutely
it's
everywhere.
in the grill. It's on the
It's in two places on your seat.
Yes.
It's got it
It's on
imprinted
the
on the
wheels.
seat. It's on a badge in the chrome. It's on the back of your seat. It's on the hood. It's on the
It's
roof.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think there are certain buyers that are going to love that.
Yes.
But for me, I like the more subtle luxury. I'm not the person
Like
who
a 911 cabriolet kind of thing.
Exactly, exactly. You wouldn't catch me in those juicy couture sweatpants with the
It just
butt labeling,
spells it out right there.
in case you don't know.
Yes. Yep. That's fair, right? Or like the giant watch, right?
Yes.
Jeweled watch. Like that's just not my thing.
Yes,
And
it's screaming.
Yeah, and I think it's not all those buyers, but I think it's definitely attractive to people who like to show their wealth a little more than those
For sure.
that
For
kind of
sure.
slide into it a bit
Yes.
more, a bit more covert.
Yes, this is not a subtle car.
Yes, not subtle in any way.
The juicy butt.
Well, you're a big fan of this pizza bar place, but I don't know if I can do pizza today, so let's
No.
find somewhere else to get some lunch.
Sounds good.
Let's give this Zinc Cafe and Bar a shot. Sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, how'd we do, Mom?
I think we scored.
Avocado toast for you, and Pacific cod for me. That looks so good.
Oh, beachy food.
Bon appetit. What a delicious lunch.
It was fantastic.
So good.
Good choice.
Thank you. Thank you, Google. I think we should wash it down with a little acceleration, right?
Oh, yes.
Sound good?
Yes,
Okay.
let's see what this thing can do.
Let's do it. All right, here we go.
That was very respectable.
Not bad, right?
No, not bad at all.
Twin turbo V8.
Yeah.
It's hard to go wrong. Gosh darn it. The mid-range punch is
Yes.
serious.
Yes, it really does.
Yeah.
It was almost rearing back a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you want to go? Let's go. Nay! Now we need to test the practicality with a trip here to Costco to benefit the charity Families Forward. It's another good haul for a good cause. The question is whether the Maybach anyway, has the capacity to handle it. The question I have to answer right away is whether I want to leave the top down, giving me easy access to the storage behind the front seats, or whether I want to lift it back up, which allows me to raise up this plastic piece for a bigger trunk. I'm gonna leave it down, because I don't think that is gonna change this situation much. I am gonna start by loading up the underfloor storage first with some thinner items. We're off to a much better start than I expected. I fit a ton underneath that floor, and with the netted side pouch, I can fit even more. You know, I do this a lot, so I have a pretty good sense of what's gonna fit in a car and what isn't. But in the case of the SL, I've been wrong. It all fits. I have just one bulky item that is gonna need to slide in behind the front seats. And to be honest, if I had put the top up and had more trunk space, I could have rearranged it so that would have fit. So after returning my cart like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the Maybach SL 680 is Costco approved. Don't stop me now, cause I'm having such a good time. I'm having a ball. It's time to get some fuel back in this 18.5 gallon tank, and the Maybach SL 680 is EPA rated at 13 mpg in the city, 21 on the highway, and 15 combined. If I did see 15 combined, I would have a fuel range of about 280 miles, but during my time with the car, I've averaged 11.4 miles per gallon. And at current fuel prices of $5.29 for the required 91 octane gas, it's gonna cost me about 98 bucks to fill this tank, and there isn't capless fueling, so I have to work just a little bit harder. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what it would be like to live with an elevated Maybach convertible. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I can quickly praise the comforts and luxuries while acknowledging that I'm unlikely the target buyer. From within the driver's seat, I've soaked up the cushy padding and leather-lined surfaces while the car has moved gracefully over just about every road. But every time I get out, I'm reminded of the flashy Maybach logos adorning just about every panel. It is possible to look past the overt glitziness to appreciate this attractive car, and thankfully, some of the details are optional. The loss of the rear seats in this Maybach at first seemed like a blow, but as a result, the wind buffeting is reduced and the trunk capacity is surprisingly good. $230,000 is a big ask, especially when the AMG model is 40 grand cheaper. But for the right buyer, actually for everyone, this car is hard to ignore. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.